Good afternoon, everyone. I hope everyone's having a great day. My name is Daniel Crane. I'm the Programming and Community Engagement Manager here at the Center for Creative Entrepreneurship. Today is our Thursday Global Spotlight. We're really excited to have our guest today. Every Thursday, we talk to entrepreneurs, small businesses, organizations, all in our network, and kind of hear about what they're doing and then some of the tips that they would have for our creative entrepreneurs out there. So let's bring in Tiffany on this conversation. All right. Oh, hello.
Hello, hello. How's it going?
Good, Tiffany. Thanks for coming and joining us today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. I love y'all. So excited to be here.
Yeah, definitely. So Tiffany is the program director for the arts and culture at Southeast Chicago Commission. Um, and,
Absolutely.
and Tiffany, if you could just talk a little bit about, what your organization does, and specifically, and then also kind of your role in that, and then maybe some of the tips that you have for people who are building their businesses, especially, during a pandemic and all the things going on. So,
Awesome. Awesome. Thanks so much for having me again. Hey, Southside Grinds. Thanks for being here. As you mentioned, I am the program director of arts and culture at the Southeast Chicago Commission, also known as SCCC. SCCC is a neighborhood community development and economic development nonprofit that has existed for over 70 years. For about 20 years, they've been doing a lot of granting programs around artists, centering artists as leaders in the community development process. And so much so that last year I was hired to come on and design a full program around how do we center artists and creatives at the local neighborhood level as artists and designers and stakeholders as we develop neighborhoods. So I've been in my role just over a year. We've branded our program as the Arts and Culture Capital Lab. And our mission is to invest in Chicago artists as community wealth builders and creative entrepreneurs. Our goal is to measure both the social and economic impact that artists and creatives have in all of our neighborhoods. So
that's fantastic.
yeah, thank
Wow,
you. Thank
that's
you.
great. That's really great work. And I think can you talk a little bit about how that looks? I think that people don't um, think about some of the social and economic impacts that artists have in a community, and
Absolutely.
and how important that can be in terms of drawing tourists or other people to come and frequent businesses. Also, there's
Absolutely.
just a general mental health with having more arts
Yes.
surrounded
Yes.
in the community. So can you talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely. So, as you alluded to, we're creating a huge amount of value at the local neighborhoods, specifically neighborhoods that don't have a lot of other assets. So, we study community wealth building principles, which kind of differs from economic development in that it says, let's look at neighborhoods, let's look at the
Hmm.
assets that already exist, let's invest in those assets, and let's do it in a way where the value that gets created from those assets is actually shared among the local residents and the stakeholders. And so what we know is an artist, somebody that might have dropped off for a second. But
Yeah.
what we know is that an artist is an asset that exists in every single neighborhood. So even if there aren't a ton of grocery stores or aren't a ton of other kinds of businesses or banks, artists that are there. And we're doing work, not only like the visible work that you can see, like murals and vacant lots and activating physical spaces and reimagining physical spaces in brand new ways, but also a ton of education. And as you said, like the mental health, right?
Hmm.
And that which really contributes to unity. So how I came into my role, yeah, yeah. Thank you. So yeah, I was gonna say how I came into my role is so I've spent a decade building. I'm a digital artist, and so you really use
Oh.
technology as a storytelling tool, specifically new
Hmm.
media, live video broadcast. Um, and as we had a startup, and we decided we wanted to be hosted in on the South Side, and so we built a podcast studio, live stream lab on the South Side of Chicago and really recognize that there was a gap in infrastructure that it needs,
Mm.
that these local neighborhoods need to run innovative, creative businesses. And so
And
decided to, yeah, go ahead.
and the infrastructure, I mean, is that you're talking like a physical space where these things can be housed and where people can
Yeah.
kind of come and learn and
Mm-hmm.
educate and create? Okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah. And all the things that are required for that to happen, right? starting with high-speed
Right.
internet, and then moving
Mm-hmm.
to like kind of the physical spaces that are needed, the capital sources, et cetera. So that's all what I kind of bring to my role, and definitely have some nuggets to share and advice with other creative entrepreneurs.
Yeah, great. Um, I really, again, I'll say it again, I admire that work a lot, because I think that for me, I was a independent artist for a very long time. I was a full-time musician, and
Nice.
the importance of community building through the arts, and also providing people those resources and accessibility,
Yep.
because the talent is there. I
Yes.
mean, especially in Chicago, all over, the talent is really, really present, and to be able to nurture that and create spaces is such great work. So yeah, so why don't you have
Yeah.
give
Yeah.
some tips for our creative entrepreneurs out there?
Absolutely. So one, I'll just say, like, when I think of the advice that I give generally and kind of the themes that run through the work that I've spent as a
Hmm.
creative entrepreneur over the last decade or so, like success is really about two things, and it's storytelling and science. So viewers
Mm,
take nothing away from that. Is like storytelling and science. And storytelling is like, how do you tell the story of your work, the story of both yourself as a creator, the impact that you've had, the impact that you want to have, your vision, being able to tell that story over and over in different mediums, whether it's like blogging or videos, or we're lucky now that we have all of these different kind of tools for telling our story. So do it all the time. And then the science piece is really about like measuring. So I definitely know as artists, we tend to be people who kind of move through gut. A lot of our work is about like kind of intuitive practices,
mm,
which is awesome. That is our unique value proposition. It makes us super, super special, but it also
right.
can become our blind spot. If we don't have tools in place to kind of measure, are we having the impact that we think that we're going to have? Is the work that we're planning actually going to be able to sustain our lifestyle long term? And the way you do that is measure
Right.
all the way along. So that's kind of the theme. I'd say that's one piece of advice. Yeah.
Yeah, and if someone is looking to measure, which I think is really important, and that's a great point, with a lot of artists, is that we're just kind of like looking at the next gig or the next thing that we're
Mhm.
creating,
Mhm.
and there's not ever a zoom out of what is the big picture of what you're
Yeah.
building or what you're doing.
Yeah.
A lot of it's because if you're a full-time artist, you're really just trying to cover your expenses and your
Yeah.
rent or
Mhm.
whatever you
Yeah.
have, right?
Absolutely.
And so it's kind of job to job to job.
Yep.
And there's you don't really have that insurance of like, or that time, I would say, to
Sure.
zoom out. So in terms of someone looking at their own career and measuring it, what would be your suggestion? Would it be like, here's some tools, or come talk to me, or
Yeah,
what's
definitely
kind
come
of
talk to us at CCC in the Arts and Culture Capital Lab. We do
right.
free project strategy sessions. We'll help
Mm,
you kind of map out. We really see kind of the journey from being an independent, autonomous artist to a creative entrepreneur running an enterprise, innovative enterprise, as being a journey and a continuum that we
mm,
go on all the time, right? And we see there kind of being three different levels. The first one is what we call creative professional. And this is like you have figured out how to exchange some kind of skill or talent for value, oftentimes money, right? So you can sustain your life.
right.
The second level is what we call creative producer. And these are people who are able to create revenue opportunities, not just for themselves, but for other folks around them. So maybe you have a large show that you produce, and you're able to hire other people, or a festival, or a retail space. And so that's a specific set of skills. And then that next level, where you're actually able to um, solve a problem at scale, which is actually how you get to that generational wealth and community wealth, is you solve a
Hmm.
problem big enough to for you to reap the rewards. That's a whole different set of skills. So I guess that kind of goes into the second piece of advice, is just recognizing that it's a journey. There are
Right.
different skills that you need and will pick up along the way. And I think it's important for us as artists to think about, like, what kind of life do we want to live?
Mm,
Um, give ourselves the permission to just dream big, and then try to figure out, how can I get there, and kind of separating who you are as an artist from your work as a creative entrepreneur. That helps.
yeah, no, that's a lot to think about. And um so if people go to the website,
Yeah.
SECC website, they can find some of this information. I really liked how you talked about how everyone's at different levels,
Mm-hmm.
and it's good to identify what level you're at,
Yeah.
and also, there's people out there like yourself and like SECC that are going to help.
They're going to help
Yes,
you.
absolutely.
I really think that a lot of artists aren't aware of the amount of resources or creative entrepreneurs or
Yes.
amount of free resources that are
Mm-hmm.
out there.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it can be isolating if you don't really know what to do, but you
Mm-hmm.
feel like, you're kind of stuck.
Absolutely.
And I think we all get stuck. It's a
All
human
day.
thing.
Yeah, entrepreneurship can be a lonely journey, which is why I appreciate spaces like the Center for Creative Entrepreneurship. And
Right.
absolutely. So, folks who watch this video, they can click on SECC Chicago's profile, and then in our bio, we have linked to all of the different resources.
Oh, that's
Um,
wonderful.
yeah.
Great. Well, Tiffany, I'm not going to take any more time. I really appreciate you jumping on with us today. And I'll make sure that I will post the link to the website. Go check out, say hi to Tiffany, check out SECC. They're doing great things. We hope everyone has a wonderful day. Tiffany, I hope you have a great day. And I look forward to meeting you in person.
Likewise, Daniel, thanks so much
Absolutely.
for having me.
All right.
Let's have many more of these.
Great. Sounds good,
All right.
Tiffany.
Take
Take
care.
care.